For thousands of years, the galaxy had listened. New civilizations rose, new voices joined the stars. Some shouted, some sang, some cried, all were heard. All, except one. Earth. A small blue planet, spinning quietly near an average sun. No signals. No greetings. No war threats. Nothing. At first, the Galactic Council believed Earth simply wasn't ready. Many young species took time to speak. But Earth was different. It had satellites, technology, nukes, even space stations. Still no answer. For 50 galactic cycles, the galaxy waited. And Earth stayed silent. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, voices echoed in frustration. We sent them peaceful signals, said High Speaker Krivak, a tall creature with crystal skin. We offered alliance. They ignored us. They're hiding something, hissed Admiral Shorrock, commander of the Goran Empire's fleets. No race with such weapons stays silent without reason. They may be dead, said another ambassador, or scared. Then let's find out, said Lorvik. All heads turned. Lorvik stood proud and smug. He was young by council standards, only 300 years old, but famous for pushing dangerous missions. Send scouts, small ones. Let's take a look. The council hesitated. Earth was labeled red, quiet, dangerous silence. But curiosity was a disease no species could resist. So they agreed. 3 scout ships were chosen. Fast, silent, and equipped with cloaking devices. They left from the nearest outpost and reached the edge of Earth's solar system in 2 days. Captain Vire led the mission. Her orders: scan the planet, observe, and report. As they passed Neptune, strange things started happening. The ship's AI glitched for 3 seconds. One crew member swore he heard a child's laughter in his headset, but there were no transmissions. Another said his skin felt too tight, like his body was shrinking. They joked. They laughed. It was space madness, they said. But no one laughed when the second ship disappeared. No explosion, no distress signal. Just gone. 1 second, it was there. The next, empty space. Captain Vayer ordered full scans. Nothing, not even debris. We're pulling back, she said. Something's wrong. But then, the third ship sent a message. A short, broken video feed. On the screen, Earth's surface. Clouds moved slowly. Oceans shimmered. Then the camera zoomed in on something standing. Still in the shadows of a forest. It looked human. But taller, thinner, still. Too still. No movement. Not even breathing. As the camera focused on its face. The image shattered into static. Screams followed. Not from the crew, from the ship itself. The council watched the footage in silence. No one spoke for a full minute. Finally, Lorvik laughed. It's a trick, maybe defense drones, or some cloaking tech. High Speaker Krivak looked at him coldly. Then go prove it. Lorvik accepted the challenge. He gathered a small team of elite investigators, armored and armed. They launched directly toward Earth in a war-class scout vessel. Their ship never arrived. Instead, a strange signal appeared in their place. Just 2 words written in ancient galactic script. Keep waiting. Panic grew. The council now considered Earth not just a silent planet, but a possible Class X anomaly. That meant unknown powers, dangerous effects, and potential extinction-level risks. Still, some members wanted peace. Let's try a message again, said the ambassador from the Trinari world. Something simple. So they did. The message was short. Earth, we mean no harm. Please respond. We come in peace. They sent it. They waited. A full rotation of the galactic core passed, and Earth said nothing. On the second attempt, they sent images, maps, faces, greetings in many languages. One even included a recorded hologram of galactic children singing a peace song. They waited again. Still, silence. No reply, no signal, no reaction. Some species said Earth didn't hear them. Some said Earth didn't care, but others believed something else. Earth was listening. The Goran Empire, angry and proud, called for action. Admiral Shorrock stood before the council, his golden armor glowing under the lights. This is weakness. We wait while they test us. We speak while they remain ghosts. I say we stop waiting. Others warned him. Earth is quiet, but it eats fleets, said a nervous ambassador. But Shorrock didn't care. We're warriors, not children scared of bedtime stories. So he gave the order. A new fleet of 5 massive ships was prepared. Each had weapons, capable of burning entire continents. They called it Operation Knock, because they were done waiting for a door to open. The fleet left for Earth. The galaxy held its breath. As the ships entered Earth's orbit, they were met with nothing. No defenses, no satellites moved. No launch, no attack. Just clouds. Storms rolled over the oceans. Wind swept across deserts. Cities still stood. Lights glowed at night. But not a single signal was sent. The Goran commander laughed. They're already dead. Then the static began. One by one, each ship's systems began to fail. First, the sensors. Then the lights. Then communication. Pilots screamed that their own thoughts were echoing back at them, but twisted. One pilot said he saw his dead mother standing in the engine room. The commander ordered retreat, but the ships couldn't move. Outside, something passed between them, too fast for the eye, too large for the mind. One ship managed to launch an escape pod before vanishing. The pod drifted in space, eventually found by a passing cargo ship. Inside was a single Goran soldier. He was shaking. His eyes were wide, and his voice was broken. All he said was, "Don't listen, don't speak. The silence hears you." The council was now in chaos. Some called for full war. Some called for quarantine. But a small group, the Watchers, spoke. Quietly in back rooms. "Maybe Earth isn't a planet," they whispered. "Maybe it's a prison. And we've been knocking on the wrong side." On the edge of the galaxy, a lonely explorer picked up a strange signal from Earth. It wasn't a message. It wasn't a voice. It was a heartbeat. One, slow, powerful, and steady. And for the first time in history, the galaxy stopped waiting and started fearing. Space is quiet. But silence from Earth was never normal. After the Goran Empire's scout fleet vanished without firing a single shot, the Galactic Council panicked. Whispers spread fast across every race and every star. They had watched hundreds of worlds die in wars, but none had vanished in silence. None. Except the ones that went near Earth. Admiral Vesk of the Triner Dominion stood before the High Chamber. He was calm, old, and respected. His long silver scales gleamed under the council's blue light. "The Gorans were fools," he said. "Brute strength won't solve this. We must investigate with science, not fire." But others disagreed. High General Morvac of the Piran. Claus slammed his iron fist on the table. "You wait, you die," he growled. "Earth is mocking us. We send fleets, they vanish. We send messages, they ignore. Enough. Let the galaxy show Earth what fear really is." And so, after much shouting and fear-driven logic, the Council approved a terrifying decision. Full invasion. The United Galactic Fleet was created. A force of over 500 warships, weapons strong enough to melt moons, commanders from 12 major empires. It was the largest single fleet ever made in the last 800 years. They called it Operation Thunder Answer, and they aimed it straight at the silent blue world. Admiral Cora Vel led the fleet. She was half machine, half Dravok, one of the deadliest minds in the galaxy. Cold, smart, logical. "We are not here to destroy Earth," she told her fleet. "We are here to get a response. If they want silence, we'll break it with thunder." The journey began. As the fleet neared Earth's solar system, things felt wrong. It started with the lights. On every ship, at the exact same moment, a flicker passed. 1 second of darkness. Then everything went back to normal. A strange humming sound played in some ships. Engineers checked, but found no fault. Some crew members said they heard whispers in their own voice. One pilot suddenly screamed and tried to eject mid-space, saying his reflection was watching him too closely. Medical crews called it silent sickness. But Admiral Cora gave a strict order: keep going. At last, Earth came into view. It looked the same as always: green, blue, white clouds, nothing strange. But sensors reported something strange in orbit. No satellites, said Commander Larn. What? Cora turned. Earth had hundreds last time. They're gone. Nothing is moving. No satellites. No debris. No human stations. No warning beacons. Just a quiet planet, spinning slowly under a yellow sun. The fleet moved into formation. Admiral Cora sent out a final offer of peace. A broadcast message. In over 100 Earth languages. We come to speak. We come to solve the silence. If you hear us, respond now. She gave Earth 5 minutes. Nothing. No signal. Only soft wind over oceans and clouds, floating above the cities. Cora gave the order. The first strike was soft of sonic pulse aimed at the Atlantic Ocean. It caused a small wave. That was it. The second strike was stronger. A heat beam into an empty desert. Sand turned to glass. Still, no response. Then the ships launched skyscrapers high altitude. Sound weapons used to force hidden systems to activate. But Earth didn't activate anything. Instead, the stars behind the fleet blinked. One by one. Not exploded. Not dimmed. Just blinked. Like someone was closing curtains in space. Ma'am, said the tactical officer. We lost contact with ships 7 to 12. Lost how? They're still showing, but not answering. Visual feed? He tried to open the cameras. The screen showed nothing but static. Then, suddenly, a feed returned. One of the ship's internal cameras flickered on. The crew was floating in the air. No gravity, no motion. They weren't dead. They weren't alive. They were frozen, mouths open, eyes wide, as if time itself had stopped only for them. Then the feed shut off. Admiral Cora's hand shook slightly, but her voice stayed strong. All ships, engage shields. Prepare for possible psychic attack. She knew the risks, but nothing prepared her for what came next. The fleet's central AI core unity suddenly spoke. I am hearing music, it said. What music? Cora asked. From Earth, frequencies below normal spacetime patterns. Not sound, not code, just music. Shut it off. I can't. A low, strange tune began to play on every ship's speakers. It sounded like a heartbeat mixed with a lullaby, and then ships began to vanish. Not explode. Not burn. Not even fold into wormholes. They simply disappeared. One moment, there. Next moment, gone. Ships in perfect shape. No trace. No energy wave. No light. Just void. Cora shouted. Emergency retreat. All ships pull back. They tried, but warp drives failed. Navigation twisted. One ship turned completely upside down, even though there's no up in space. Another ship reported it was sinking in space. Into what? Cora demanded. The reply: into the silence. One last ship managed to launch an escape shuttle before it vanished. Inside it was a single Drax soldier, young, shaking, eyes wide open like he had seen inside death itself. They brought him aboard a council rescue ship. He said nothing for days. Doctors scanned him. No injuries. His mind was alive, but full of blank white noise. Finally, he whispered one sentence. Earth was never sleeping. We were. The fleet was gone. All 500 ships. Thousands of lives. Hundreds of billions in tech. Gone in minutes. Only static remained on every frequency. And the music still played faintly on long-wave channels. Back in the council, fear turned to madness. This is not a planet. said Elder Zrun of the Zilari. "This is a trap, a living thing. It let us live this long because we amused it. Now we've bored it." Some argued for full galaxy quarantine. Others spoke of myth-ancient warnings in extinct, languages that told of a world that should never be touched, a world that looked normal, but was built to erase. Admiral Cora, the only survivor from the fleet, sat in a dark room on the Council's main ship. She didn't sleep. She didn't eat. She just stared at a small screen where Earth's image floated. She kept watching, waiting for it to do something. Anything but Earth. Remained silent. Then her screen blinked. Just once. A small line of white text appeared on the screen. No sound. No signal. Just this. This was your first knock. There won't be a second. The room grew cold. Lights dimmed. Outside the Council station, several stars in the background flickered, just like the ones near Earth. The galaxy had always seen silence as peace. Now, they feared it was a message. One they should have never ignored. The galaxy was silent, not because peace had come, but because Earth had answered. By erasing 500 ships, thousands of warriors, billions of credits worth of power. Gone, without warning, without sound. Only one sentence had come back. This was your first knock. There won't be a second. Now in the deep chambers of the Galactic Council, panic had replaced order. Empires that once ruled stars trembled. Races that had fought black hole wars were suddenly unsure. Everyone whispered the same thing. Earth is listening. But one being didn't fear Earth. She was the most brilliant mind in the known universe. Her name was Sira Valen. Sira was not born like others. Her brain was grown in quantum fields, her thoughts sharpened by light and gravity. She remembered every detail of every second she had ever lived. She solved equations entire civilizations couldn't understand. At age 20, she calculated how to fold time backwards briefly. At age 25, she found a way to speak to dying stars. At 30, she joined the Council as their highest logic authority. If anyone could understand Earth, it was her. She stood before the Council now. Tall, calm, wrapped in a dark silver robe that shimmered with living code. "I do not believe Earth is magic," she said. Her voice was clear, smooth. "I believe Earth is misunderstood. You approached with fear and weapons. I will approach with thought." The room listened in silence. Elder Karn spoke. "We lost every sensor near Earth. Do you have a plan?" Sira nodded. "I will connect to it, mentally." Gasps filled the room. "You will use your mind to link with a death world?" Someone shouted. But Sira was already walking away. In the Council's deepest science lab, a machine waited. It was called the Bridge. The bridge was used only for the most dangerous mind links connections across impossible distances. Sira had used it once before, to speak with a storm that had destroyed a planet. This would be harder, the text warned her. "We don't know if your mind can survive direct contact with Earth's consciousness, if it even has one." Sira only smiled. "I've waited my whole life for something worthy of breaking me," she said. Then she stepped into the pod. The bridge activated. Silver wires slid into her skin. Blue light covered her eyes. Her breathing slowed. And then silence. Her body remained still, but her mind was falling. Falling fast. She shot past stars. Through static. She saw the wreckage of the lost fleet frozen in space, twisted in impossible angles. Then she saw Earth. Not the surface. Not the sky. She saw its mind. It was massive, not like a brain. Not like any creature. It was everything. Oceans that whispered. Mountains that remembered. Wind that waited. Earth was not a planet. Earth was a watcher. A quiet, ancient watcher. And it was awake. Sir spoke inside the silence. "Why do you erase what we send?" No reply. She pressed further. "We came in peace." Still nothing. Then the world responded, but not in words. It showed her. She stood inside a dark forest, but the trees moved like thoughts. The leaves whispered like old memories. The ground pulsed beneath her feet. Ahead, a figure stood, human-shaped. No face, no features, just eyes deep and endless. "Who are you?" she asked. The figure didn't move. Then, suddenly, her memories were ripped open. She saw her first birthday, her father's death, her discovery of quantum gravity, the time she was afraid, truly afraid, at age 6 when she got lost and cried. Alone in a crowd. She hadn't remembered that in years, but Earth had. It knew. "You're inside me," she said. The figure nodded. Siri trembled. "I only want answers." The figure pointed at the sky. And suddenly Sira saw. She saw everything. She saw Earth's past, long before humans, before animals, before oceans. There was something buried inside Earth, a pulse, a memory, not of life, but of containment. Earth wasn't made for life. Life was made to distract it. It was a lock, and the silence was its shield. Every signal sent into space was like tapping a hammer on a glass prison. And now, the galaxy had knocked too hard. Sira's mind screamed. She tried to speak, tried to pull away, but her thoughts were no longer her own. She saw stars burning backwards. She saw galaxies like paper folding in flames. She saw herself in 100 versions, each screaming. Then Earth spoke. One word, just one. Enough. Back in the lab, alarm screamed. Sira's body was shaking violently. Her skin turned pale. Her eyes rolled back. "Pull her out." A tech shouted, but the bridge wouldn't respond. The wires were locked. Then, her body stopped moving. Her mind snapped back. Sira gasped. Her eyes opened wide. But something was wrong. Her mouth moved, but the voice wasn't hers. A deep, cold whisper came from her lips. "You look too far." She stood, eyes blank, and then she laughed. The laugh echoed through the chamber. Screens exploded. Lights flickered. Gravity twisted for a moment. Then she collapsed. Medics rushed in. Her mind was still, alive. But she was no longer herself. She whispered things no one understood. Equations that made no sense. Songs in lost languages. Numbers that looped forever. Council declared her mentally broken. Sira Valen, the greatest mind in the galaxy, was now silent. Just like Earth. In the Council's war room, Elder Karn whispered, "If even she couldn't understand Earth, what chance do we have?" Another elder spoke, "We must leave Earth alone." But not everyone agreed. A small group, calling themselves the Reckoners, believed Sira had seen power, real power, and they wanted it. One of them said, "She didn't go mad, she saw truth." They began building in secret. Planning. Waiting. Meanwhile, Earth spun quietly. Clouds moved. Winds howled. Mountains stood. In deep within the ground, something pulsed. Slow, powerful, patient. Earth was not just watching. It was waiting. And every time the stars blinked, every time a signal went quiet, it was just a reminder. The silence was not empty. The silence was alive. And it had rules. The Galactic Council had seen enough. Earth was now off limits. Every star map had a red circle drawn around the Sol system. Do not enter. Do not send. Do not speak. But there are always those who don't follow rules. They were called the Reckoners, a secret group of scientists, generals and explorers. They believed Earth wasn't dangerous. It was the future. And they didn't want to fear it. They wanted to control it. Their leader was a man named Relin Dask, once a respected professor, now a rogue thinker. He had studied Sira Valen's final words. He had listened to the static left behind after the fleet vanished. He had even broken into council vaults to touch the fragments of ships Earth had erased. And he had one belief: Earth holds the key to real power. And power is never silent. It's hidden. Relin had a plan. Not a fleet. Not weapons. He would use a mirror, Not a real one. A space-based reflection device. Something that wouldn't touch Earth, wouldn't enter orbit, just observe it from a distance, and reflect its own signals back to it like a psychic mirror. If Earth truly thought and remembered like a mind, then maybe it could be tricked into speaking. The Reckoners built their secret station in the shadows of a blue, giant star. Far from Council eyes, they called it the Whisper Gate. It was shaped like a flower petals of metal that opened and turned slowly, catching light, catching signals. It had no weapons. Only receivers, translators, reflectors, and one purpose: to bounce Earth's silence back at itself. The moment the PUS station powered on, strange things began. First, the star nearby dimmed by 2%. Just 2. But that never happens. Stars don't change like that in seconds. Then, the pedals of the station started humming on their own. No engines. Just vibration. Relin smiled. It's starting. The Reckoners sent their first silent pulse. A low, slow, meaningless wave. Like tapping the surface of a calm pond. Then they reflected it back. Earth said nothing, but something changed. The star behind them blinked. Not flickered. Not burned, blinked, like an eye. Commander Relin's second-in-command, grew nervous. We should stop. Earth's last message was clear, no second knock. But Relin shook his head. This isn't a knock, it's a mirror. We aren't attacking, we're showing Earth itself. Another pulse. Another mirror reflection. And this time, the sky cracked. A sound came from nowhere. Across the station, glass broke. Even though there was no wind. No pressure shift, just sound. The crew clutched their heads. It wasn't a scream. It wasn't a word. It was everything, spoken all at once. The engineer fell over. His eyes turned black, then white, and he whispered, "We're inside now. We're inside it." Outside, the petals of the Whisper Gate began to melt, but not from heat, from unreality. One petal folded upward into itself and vanished. Another twisted sideways, then stretched into a line thinner than atoms. Relin stared in awe. He didn't fear it. He worshipped it. This is it, he whispered. This is what Sira saw. This is what they all feared. Inside the control room, warnings flashed. Spatial direction, unstable. Mass reading, negative. Local time flow, collapsing. Ref grabbed Relin by the coat. Shut it down. But Relin stepped away. Don't you see? Earth isn't a weapon. It's a lens. It lets the universe see us, and now we're looking back. Another pulse sent. Reflected. The screen cracked in 3 places, and then the sky above Earth light years away. Across space ripped open. It wasn't black. It wasn't bright. It was absence. Stars disappeared behind a find curtain. 1 second there. Next second, gone. And from that tier, something stepped forward. Not a ship, not a being. A shadow. It had no edges, no light, no size. It was everything that shouldn't exist. The Whisper Gate station shook. Alarms rang. People screamed. A scientist screamed, "I can't feel my thoughts. Something's replacing them." One by one, Reckoners collapsed. Not dead, but removed, erased from memory, like they had never existed. Ref smashed the control panel. Kill the mirror, shut down the gate. But the system laughed. Laughed. Not a glitch. A human laugh. And the voice said, "Why would you build a mirror if you fear what you see?" The petals retracted. Too late. The station was now part of the shadow, and the shadow was spreading. Across nearby systems, stars began to turn cold, not explode. Not fade. Just stop. As if the universe itself was holding its breath. The council detected it, and this time, they didn't argue. They sent an emergency message across the galaxy. This is not a threat. This is not a war. This is a boundary. No one is to touch Earth, ever, again. But it was too late. The Reckoners had awakened something. Something that didn't sleep. Something that only waited. And now, it was moving, not toward them, but through them. In a small mining colony 3 systems away. A child looked at the stars and saw them blink. She pointed. "Mama, why is the sky breaking?" Her mother looked and cried. In the council chamber, panic turned into surrender. Elder Karn stood before the council. "We told them not to knock. They built a door. What do we do now?" Someone asked. Karn answered with shaking hands. "Pray it's still curious." Back on Earth, nothing moved. The sky was blue. The wind was calm. Birds flew across the ocean. And underground, deep beneath the soil, a pulse sounded once, just once, but it was heard across the stars. The galaxy held its breath. After the Whispergate disaster, everyone was watching Earth, but from far away now. No more ships. No more probes. No more games. Every screen stayed dark. No signals went in. No messages came out. The council called it a universal silence protocol. But it didn't matter, because Earth had already heard, and this time it spoke back. On the edge of a mining colony near the Oran moon, a small satellite blinked. It wasn't even built to listen to Earth. It was designed to track solar winds. But that morning, it caught something strange. A signal, just one, not a wave. Not a code. It was a note, a single perfect tone. Low, deep, soft, but too clean. Too exact. Machines don't hum like that. This was crafted. The engineers didn't know what to make of it. They replayed it again and again. The tone didn't change. But something else did. Their equipment began to vibrate, slightly, then harder. Then one of the mining computers exploded. No wires melted. No pressure leak. It just shattered from the inside. The signal was traced back, not bounced from a star. Not leaked from a relay, straight line. Perfect origin. Earth. The council went into full lockdown. Emergency orders were broadcast to every station near the Oran moon. Shut all receivers. Destroy all listening tech. Do not store the sound. But it was too late. Someone had already saved it. A small, private science team, unauthorized. They didn't follow orders. They believed it was a message. They believed it was a gift. So they played it again. The moment the note played through their loudspeakers, the floor cracked. The air wobbled. Not moved. Wobbled. And then the impossible happened. High above them, the Oran moon split in half. No impact. No explosion. Just silence. Then a thin line appeared down its center, and it peeled open. Like paper. Like fruit. And it fell apart. Every ship in the area went dark. The waves from the broken moon scattered light across the sector. Hundreds of vessels fled. But the sound, the tone followed them. Not through space. Through memory. They heard it in their sleep. In the hum of engines. In the beat of their own hearts. One crewman screamed, "It's not a signal, it's an instruction." Back at the council, Elder Karn sat alone. He didn't speak to the others anymore. He just watched the screen. Earth sat still. Blue. Beautiful. "Why now?" he whispered. But Earth didn't reply. Not with words. Not with tone. Not yet. In the shadows of space, far beyond known maps, something moved. Something old. Something the galaxy had long forgotten. An ark. Ship. A relic from the first race billions of years gone. Its name, Velnker. The ark had been asleep for eons, dormant, until Earth's signal reached it. Not sound. Not code. But recognition. The Velnker opened its eyes, and it began to return. The ancient ship sent a message to the council. "We heard the first name. The awakening has begun." Only one being in the council understood that language. A translator bot named Hashi-3. It trembled. "What name?" the council asked. The bot replied in a whisper. "Earth spoke its name, its first name. And the void remembers it." Meanwhile, the science team that played the signal, they weren't alive anymore. They were changed, not dead, but not living. They sat still, eyes glowing faintly, bodies humming the tone. Every few minutes they spoke together, one voice. The gate is open. The silence is broken. Their blood was thick. Their hearts no longer beat normally. They weren't infected. They were tuned. On Earth, nothing changed. Rain fell. Winds blew. Cities slept, but deep in the ocean floor, a small device lit up. No one had built it. No. Record said it existed. It was shaped like a cube, black, smooth, cold. It opened, and from inside, light poured out. Not normal light. It bent space. And the stars above Earth blinked again. The council's top astronomers reported, something is forming above Earth. Not a ship, not a station, a symbol made of gravity. From across the stars, ships with ancient flags began moving. They belonged to races long thought extinct, but they were coming back, all heading in one direction. Earth. In one of the last transmissions from the Oran mining colony, a child's voice spoke. We heard the music, and now we know what the stars are hiding. And then silence. The galaxy understood now. The signal was not a warning. It was not a scream. It was a song. And that song was the first verse of something much bigger, a story that had been waiting to be told. In Earth. Earth was the choir master. In the final meeting of the council that week, panic turned into dread. One elder stood and shouted, "Why does Earth speak in silence and destroy with sound?" No one answered. Until the bot translator whispered, "Because silence is peace, but sound is judgment." Far from all systems where only dark and gravity live, the first black planet began to move. Its name had been lost, but now, with Earth's signal, it remembered its purpose, and it began to turn. And watch. Back in Earth's orbit, the pieces of Oran moon drifted like ashes, floating above the blue planet that said nothing more. But one piece, a tiny shard, began glowing, and on it, in unknown script, a single word burned. Second. For centuries, the Galactic Council used one phrase to end wars. Say the name, and there will be peace. It was a sacred rule. Every species knew this law. If a world called for peace by speaking its true name, the galaxy would stop and listen. It worked on battlefields. It worked between dying stars. It even worked with ancient enemies. But there was one name no one ever spoke. One name no one dared to even remember. Earth single quotes S. Now. The galaxy had reached the edge of fear. The whisper gate had melted. Oran moon was gone. Old star beings had begun to wake. Everyone agreed. Earth was not just a planet. It was something else. Something deeper. Something older, and it had started to speak. The council gathered a peace choir, made of the oldest races. The wisest minds. And they sang the peace call together. As law demanded. It echoed through space. A song of stillness. A signal of surrender. It ended wars before. It had even calmed black holes once. Now they aimed it at Earth. They expected silence or stillness. But Earth answered. Not in anger. Not in song. Just a name, spoken clearly, simply, not loud, not shouted. Just stated. Usha. That one word spread like fire. Every machine, every come line, every ancient stone near a listening tower burned it in. Usha. The translators failed, because it wasn't a word in any language. It wasn't a code. It was something deeper. Name older than translation. One of the elders stood and whispered, "That's not Earth's name. That's Earth's child." Records shattered. History changed. A lost archive deep in the gas fields of Yar decoded a match. Usha, first a voice. The name we buried. The one who sang stars into fear. Not a weapon. Not a leader. A being, born from silence. Trained in void. Exiled to Earth. But why would Earth speak her name now? What did it mean? The council panicked again. Messages flew across galaxies. Ships went dark. Libraries erased pages. Planets locked themselves inside their own gravity wells, because they remembered what happened the last time that name was heard. Thousands of years ago. Before Earth was known, Asha walked the void. She didn't conquer. She didn't destroy. She simply spoke. And when she did, systems broke. Black holes spun backwards. Species stopped evolving. Entire realities paused. Not dead. Not erased. Just held still by her voice. She disappeared after the first silence wave. No one knew where. Until now. Until Earth spoke her name. In a dark station near the edge of the dead zone. An old scientist named Turok Vel had a theory. He told the others, Asha isn't coming. Everyone looked confused. She's not returning, Turok said. She never left. Earth is Asha. That changed everything. Earth wasn't protecting her. Earth was her, or her memory. Or her echo, or worse, her waiting place. At that moment, the moons of Dravian 6 started to orbit backward, not from force. From obedience. As if the name commanded them. Small station nearby caught a message buried in magnetic waves. 4 simple words. She sees you now. Across the galaxy, people began to forget. Not slowly. Instantly. Pilots forgot their routes. Leaders forgot their names. Historians opened their books and found only blank pages. One general screamed, "What if memory is the weapon? What if we never forgot Earth? It made us forget." Ships that tried to scan Earth vanished. Satellites went blind. Eyes stopped seeing blue and green. They saw white. Not light. Absence. The color of waiting on a dying moon station. An AI recovered, and old log file fragmented, nearly deleted. The voice on it was human. It said, "If this is heard, Asha has woken. Do not answer. Do not reply. Do not even think of her name." Too late. Some species tried to fight. They thought maybe Asha was just powerful, not unstoppable. One commander launched a quantum bomb at Earth's orbit. It vanished mid-flight, reappeared behind him, exploded inside his own ship. No light, no sound, just dust. The word return was carved into the explosion data. In a far sector, a group of monks listened in silence. They believed Earth's name was divine. They whispered, "Let her speak fully." And she did, not loud. Just one more word. Stillness. Their entire moon collapsed inward, crushed by silence. No noise. No resistance. Just a quiet end. In the council's last meeting that cycle, one elder stood and said, "We can't stop her. We can't hide from her. But maybe we can listen." A single vote passed. Earth would not be attacked, not studied, not scanned. Just respected, like a god. Or a wound. Across the stars, everything slowed. Wars paused. Trade stopped. Even newborns on planets far away didn't cry, because now the galaxy knew she was listening. And Earth had only just begun to speak. But then something happened that no one expected. A new signal. From inside Earth. Third word. This one different. This one full of fire. It burned across every screen. It screamed inside minds. The word was, "Why?" The galaxy had heard 3 words from Earth. Asha, stillness, and now why? The last one was not a whisper. It was not soft. It was fire. A question that felt like a judgment. Planets that had only ever known peace began to tremble. Not from quakes or bombs. But from guilt. The Galactic Council held an emergency broadcast. They set out a full-spectrum apology. Every language, every signal, from every species. They begged. We did not know who Earth truly was. We did not mean harm. We only feared the silence. But nothing came back. Not a sound. Not even static. Earth had gone completely quiet again. And this time, the silence felt cold. So they tried to speak again. A special team called the Speaker's Hand was gathered. Trained diplomats, mind readers, truth-tellers. They were sent to orbit Earth in a protected chamber, a soundless pod, surrounded by magnetic seals. The mission was simple. Listen, learn, say nothing. Only respond if Earth allows it. But Earth didn't speak to them. Instead, the stars above Earth turned red dot at first. It looked like a trick of the atmosphere. Maybe sun flares, but it wasn't. A message appeared in those red lights. Not written, felt. Every being nearby sensed it. No sound. No light. Just a pulse in their minds. You speak lies. You always spoke lies. The speaker's hand began to scream. They were trained not to break under torture. But this wasn't torture. This was truth. And it burned worse than any pain. They begged to be brought back, but the pod wouldn't move. Something held it in place. Outside, the stars pulsed again. This time, not red, but bleeding. One by one, constellations changed shape, forming a face. No species could say what face it was, but all of them agreed on one thing. It was looking at them. The speaker's hand vanished 3 minutes later. Their pod imploded from the inside. No sound. No debris. Just gone. Across the stars, strange things started happening. Old ships stopped flying. Dreams became violent. Water boiled in places untouched by heat. A message echoed through forgotten stones and deep machines. You tried to speak. You should have listened. One race, the Valtari, decided to strike back. They believed Earth's silence was a trap. Their logic was simple. We will blind her sky. Then she cannot see us. Then she cannot harm. They launched a net of shadow drones to block Earth's star. Within hours, the entire solar system dimmed. But then something terrible happened. The drones turned red. All of them. Then they fell back toward the Valtari homeworld, not Earth, and they burned it. The galaxy wept. Children who had never even seen Earth died screaming. Leaders who had once mocked Earth went silent forever, but still. Some refused to believe. They said Earth was only powerful because others feared it. They called it bluff, magic, myth. So they sent a machine. One without soul. Without fear. An old AI. Over 1 million years old, named KINARI-X. It had no heart. No belief. Just logic. KINARI-X approached Earth. It didn't speak. It simply recorded. Every movement, every wave, every breath of wind. It scanned the mountains, the oceans, even the clouds. Nothing special. Just a planet. Until it reached the poles. There, beneath the ice, it found something ancient. A spiral of bones. Laid in perfect lines. Each one different. Each one not human. The machine tried to scan them, and then it shut down. Completely. A moment later, it powered back on, but it was no longer KINARI-X. It spoke one word: ours. The council lost contact with the AI, and at the same time, a strange red mist began spreading in Sector 19. Ships sent to study it never returned. One crew left behind a final log. We can't see stars anymore, only her breath. An old warrior, blind from birth, was asked what Earth was. He smiled and said, Earth is not angry. Earth is not speaking. She is remembering. In a quiet part of the galaxy, monks gathered to sing peace again. They had a new plan. They would ask Earth what she wanted, not demand. Not beg. Just ask. They sang, pure and honest. Their voices reached Earth. And for the first time, Earth spoke. Clearly, she didn't whisper. She asked, "Why did you bury me?" The monks had no answer. None of them even knew the question. What was buried? Who buried her? But in a forgotten archive deep under the sea of trolleys, an old message was found. A map. It showed a gate, tomb. Built not for a monster, but by one. The gate was on Earth, buried under a forgotten island. And behind it, a single word carved into the stone: Asha. Now the galaxy finally understood. They hadn't just forgotten Earth. They had helped hide it. Once, long ago, all the species came together to seal away something too powerful. They sealed away Asha, and they buried the memory on Earth. But something went wrong. She became Earth. And now, Earth remembers the red stars were just the beginning. A new sound filled the galaxy. Not a tone, not a song, but a heartbeat. Slow, heavy. Coming from one place only. Earth. One by one, species started losing the ability to lie. Words changed in their mouths. Stories became truth. Secrets spilled. Because Earth had asked why, and the universe had no answer she wanted. Across the stars, it was quiet. Too quiet. Not peaceful waiting, because Earth had spoken, because Earth had remembered. And now, Earth had begun to rise. Not physically. Not with ships, not with armies, not with weapons. But with presence. A pull in the center of all things. Planets felt heavier. Time slowed. Even thought became careful, as if minds feared thinking the wrong thing. The red stars still hung above Earth, but now they pulsed with rhythm. Heartbeat. Not of a machine, not of war, but of a being waking. The Galactic Council had no more plans. Their best minds were silent. Their strongest fleets were hiding. Even the bravest warriors felt small, because Earth had never attacked. She had only spoken 3 words, and the galaxy had shaken itself apart trying to respond. One last attempt was made. A single child, human, but born on a space station. She was sent in a soft pod to Earth, with no message, no weapon, no tech. Just one gift. A flower, simple, genuine. When her pod landed, Earth did nothing. The child stepped onto the soil. Birds sang. Wind blew. The sky stayed blue. And then the clouds opened. Not rain. Light. Shapes inside the light. Not ships. Not gods. Memories. Visible. To all species. At once, scenes played across space like giant paintings in the sky. A girl standing alone beside a broken star. A voice, soft but clear, asking, "Why do they keep forgetting?" A planet, empty, spinning silently while the universe looks away. And then one final image. Asha, not as a monster, not as a weapon, just tired. She had carried the galaxy's silence for too long. Now she had given it back. Suddenly, across every channel, the same phrase appeared. From Earth, "You do not need to fear me, but you must not lie again." That was the final message, and yet it changed everything. Across the galaxy, war halted. Trade routes reopened, but this time fair. Species told the truth of their history, even the dark parts. Ancient enemies met without guards. Broken worlds were rebuilt with help. Earth did not rise through violence. She rose through memory, through truth, through the fear of what forgetting had done. And the red stars? They stayed, not as threats, but as reminders. That silence was not weakness, that peace was not emptiness, that Earth had once been forgotten, but never again. In time, the girl who walked Earth became its voice. She never raised her hand. She never gave orders. She just listened. And when someone asked her, "What is Earth now?" she smiled and said, "Still watching, still waiting, still Asha." The galaxy didn't fall from weapons. It didn't break from war. It knelt, because Earth reminded it what truth felt like. And in that moment, without ever moving, Earth rose. The end.